Tonight, you will lose consciousness for roughly 8 hours. Your muscles will go limp, your eyes will roll back, your body will become almost completely paralyzed, and you will have no idea any of it is happening. You call it sleep. Science calls it one of the most mysterious and non-negotiable processes in all of biology. But here's the question that has haunted researchers for decades. What actually happens if you stop? What if you never slept again? The answer is stranger and more disturbing than you probably think. Start with the basics. Every single animal on Earth sleeps. Every single one. From the tiniest fruit fly to the largest blue whale. Sleep is not a luxury. It is not laziness. It is not something your ancestors invented when life got comfortable. It is ancient. It is biological. It is as essential to your survival as food, water, or air. And yet, for most of human history, nobody could explain why. That mystery is exactly what sleep researcher Matthew Walker at the University of California, Berkeley, spent decades trying to solve. His conclusion, laid out in painstaking detail across thousands of studies, was blunt. He said that there is no major organ in your body and no process in your brain that is not enhanced by sleep and demonstrably impaired when you do not get enough of it. No exceptions, no workarounds, no substitutes. So what actually happens when you push that system past its limit? The first thing you notice is small, a little fog behind your eyes, a slight drag on your thoughts. Your reaction time slows by fractions of a second. Nothing that feels catastrophic. Nothing that even feels particularly dangerous. After 18 hours without sleep, your cognitive performance is roughly equivalent to someone with a blood alcohol level of 0.05%. You would not feel drunk, but your brain would be behaving like you were. After 24 hours, something shifts. Your emotional regulation begins to collapse. The amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for processing threats and emotional signals, becomes 60% more reactive. 60%. That means small frustrations feel enormous. Neutral faces start to look hostile. Your brain begins to see danger in places where none exists. Psychiatrist David Dinkus at the University of Pennsylvania has spent years documenting this collapse, and his findings are consistent. The sleep-deprived brain is essentially a brain in a state of low-level panic. After 48 hours, things get much stranger. Microsleeps begin. Your brain, desperately trying to fulfill its biological need, starts stealing tiny fragments of unconsciousness. 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Without your permission, you will be awake. You will believe you are awake, and then you will lose 2 seconds of your life and have absolutely no memory of it. People in this state have driven cars off roads. They have made life-altering decisions. They have had conversations they cannot recall. The brain does not negotiate. It simply takes what it needs. At 72 hours, 3 full days without sleep, hallucinations begin. Real ones, visual, auditory, sometimes tactile. You might see insects crawling across surfaces that are completely clean. You might hear your name called from an empty room. You might feel something touching your skin when nothing is there. Your brain, starved of its maintenance cycle, starts generating false signals that are indistinguishable from reality. This is not a malfunction. This is a warning. Sleep is not simply a period of rest. What happens during those 8 hours is one of the most complex and coordinated biological processes your body performs. Your glymphatic system, a network of channels in your brain described in detail by neuroscientist Maiken Nedergaard at the University of Rochester, flushes toxic waste products from between your neurons. One of those waste products is amyloid beta. That name might mean nothing to you right now, but amyloid beta is one of the primary proteins that accumulates in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Every night while you sleep, your brain is cleaning itself. Every night you skip sleep, that cleaning does not happen. Your immune system rebuilds during sleep. Your muscles repair during sleep. Your memories are consolidated during sleep. The brain replays the events of the day, sorting what to keep, what to discard, what to transfer from short-term storage into long-term memory. Every skill you learned that day, every face you encountered, every piece of information you absorbed, all of it gets processed and encoded while you are unconscious. Without sleep, none of that happens. Skills decay, memories dissolve, the immune system weakens, the body begins to eat itself. Now, here is where it gets truly haunting. There is a disease called fatal familial insomnia. It is caused by a single misfolded protein in the brain, and it does exactly what its name suggests. It destroys your ability to sleep. Completely, permanently, Patients begin with mild insomnia. Then the insomnia intensifies. Then it becomes total. Within months, hallucinations begin. Dementia follows, and then death. The entire process, from first symptom to final breath, typically takes between 7 and 18 months. There is no treatment. There is no cure. The simple removal of sleep is enough to end a human life. Fatal familial insomnia affects fewer than 100 families worldwide, but its existence tells you something profound. Sleep is not optional background maintenance. Sleep is a process that keeps you alive. So why does your body need it so desperately? The leading theory, supported by decades of research, is that sleep exists because the brain cannot perform its maintenance functions while it is awake. The same way a city cannot repave its roads while traffic is moving through them, your brain cannot flush waste, consolidate memories, and recalibrate its emotional systems while it is simultaneously processing the world. It needs to go offline. And every night, it does. Your ancestors understood this intuitively, even if they lacked the language for it. Archaeological evidence and anthropological studies of modern hunter-gatherer populations, examined in detail by Jerome Siegel at the UCLA Center for Sleep Research, reveal something surprising. Pre-industrial humans did not sleep 8 straight hours the way modern sleep guidelines suggest. They slept in 2 distinct phases, a first sleep shortly after dark, a period of wakefulness in the middle of the night, and then a second sleep before dawn. The night was not simply unconscious time. It was a different kind of time, quieter, inward, often used for reflection, storytelling, or ritual. Your body may still carry traces of that pattern. The 3 a.m. awakening that you experience as insomnia might not be a malfunction. It might be an echo of something ancient. Modern life, of course, has dismantled almost all of this. Electric light extended the waking hours. Work schedules compressed sleep windows. Screens flooded the brain with stimulation that suppressed melatonin, the chemical signal that tells your brain it is time to begin the shutdown sequence. The average adult in the industrialized world now sleeps between 6 and 6.5 hours a night. 100 years ago, that number was closer to 9. That gap is not trivial. Research published in journals tracking large population health outcomes consistently finds that adults who routinely sleep fewer than 6 hours a night have significantly elevated rates of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, depression, anxiety, and dementia. The brain does not adapt to chronic sleep deprivation. It deteriorates slowly, quietly, in ways that often do not become visible until years later. And here's the part that should make you stop and think. You cannot feel most of this damage happening. Studies where participants were restricted to 6 hours of sleep for 2 weeks found that by the end of the 2 weeks, participants reported feeling completely fine. They believed they were functioning normally. But objective cognitive testing told a completely different story. Their performance had deteriorated to levels equivalent to someone who had been awake for 48 hours straight. Their perception of their own impairment had disappeared. The brain, impaired in its capacity to evaluate itself, no longer recognized how impaired it had become. You might be living this right now and have no idea. So what would actually happen if you never slept again? Not for days, not for weeks, but truly never. The honest answer is that you would not survive long enough to find out what the endpoint looks like. Within days, your immune system would begin to collapse. Within a week, your organs would start to fail. The brain, unable to perform its essential maintenance, would spiral into a state of cascading dysfunction. You would not simply become tired. You would become something your own mind could no longer recognize. Sleep is not the pause between your real life. Sleep is the thing that makes your real life possible. Tonight, when the lights go out and your eyes close and your brain begins its quiet work, the flushing and the sorting and the rebuilding, that is not nothing. That is one of the most important things your body will do all day. It has been doing it every night for your entire life. And every night, you have taken it for granted. Something ancient and essential has been quietly running in the background, keeping you alive, keeping you whole, keeping you you. The real question was never what happens if you never sleep again. The real question is why you keep pretending you can get away with a little less.